I think service-oriented architectures are essential, right? And what that means is creating boundaries, being very, very clear about what data and what code is inside the service and is outside the service. So you have independent services that are interconnected. That's essential in a service-oriented architecture. Now, I love web services, and I love Indigo, but I like people to realize that that is just an implementation of service-oriented architectures, and it's our job, it's Microsoft's job, to make sure that that is the drop-dead, obvious business decision for our customers to use web services and to use Indigo to implement service-oriented architectures. All that said and done, the real demand, the real push for all of our customers is that they need to drive themselves towards SOA. And if that means you've got this app communicating with that app, and the easiest way to do it is to drop little turds in the file system that are comma delimited, you go, right? You do what it takes. So far, we have promised not to ship this technology in 2004, and I think all enterprise customers should be figuring out how to take independent pieces and interconnect them. And I don't think they should wait for us, right? I think they should use whatever technology is out there, whatever technology makes most sense for their enterprise. MQ Series is a great product. IBM has a great product. It covers more platforms than our product does. So some enterprises, that is an obvious connection backbone, and they should do what it takes to create independent pieces of code and connect them together. We recognize that this is the trend. We see this coming, and that's how come we're working so hard to actually drive forward the web services standards as the future for interoperability. But customers have to have the ability to make progress while we're still building the future platform that people will run on.
Very cool.
Now that's in your face.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
What is service-oriented architecture? Because a lot of the people out there are just starting to hear about it.
In many ways, service-oriented architecture is an old idea, right? And in many ways, it's a new idea, right? It's an old idea in that the essence of it is having independent pieces of code with their independent data that's completely isolated from the other stuff, except that it works with other things. Now, the way it can work with other things is via messaging, right? And that is something that people have been doing for a long time. They've been doing it with MQ Series. They've been doing it with other messaging infrastructure, with TIBCO, with MSMQ. There's a lot of good messaging infrastructure that people have been doing it with. And sometimes people have been doing it in an ad hoc fashion where they use their own technique for messaging. This is the point behind SOA is to get people to look at how important it is and to look at the fact that it is inevitable to have independent pieces that are interconnected. Far too much of what we've done in our applications today is what I would call silos, not services. So when application A wants to talk to application B, what it really does is application A talks to Harry, who talks to application B, who talks to Sam, who talks to application B, who talks to Virginia, right, who talks to application C. And there's people in the middle mitigating this stuff. People in the middle connecting the applications and figuring out how to make them fit together. Just like before Eli Whitney came along, when you would make rifles or you would make chairs or whatever, the parts didn't fit and you would do what I call trim and shim. You would trim some off or you would shim a little piece in to make them fit together. Humans today provide the trim and shim between the silos. And so our real goal, our real strategic direction is over time to reduce the amount of human intervention required to connect these apps. And that's the drive that service-oriented architecture is headed towards.